baby.
Want some Fireball?
Some Fireball.
On the ice cream?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to our next exit. Well, for those of you that don't know, Fireball is a cinnamon flavored whiskey and it goes really good with ice cream. So here we are, we're sitting around in Fairbanks, Alaska with some of our best friends, drinking Fireball, eating ice cream, and things are going perfect. Little did we know, in less than 24 hours, we'd give anything for some Fireball, or some of our friends there to help us, or to be back in Fairbanks. We were in a dire situation, and that's what this video is all about. So come along, let me show you how we got in trouble and how we got out of it. I think you'll enjoy the video.
Pretty mucky.
Pretty what?
Mucky.
Mucky? Yep.
Yucky.
Slow and easy.
Muddy-ish.
So it looks a lot different, huh, baby? When we came through, it was snow-capped mountains. Now it's all green.
Yeah.
Pretty nice day to be traveling, though.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So we left Fairbanks around 8 o'clock in the morning, and the rest of the team was going to leave between 10 and noon, somewhere like that. And we're all headed down to Tok, Alaska. We are going to keep on going down, and they're going to turn at Tok and go up a different route. So we may or may not meet up with them at Tok. It's been a great day. We had that little bit of road construction, but it's turned out pretty nice. We get to Tok, we buy some fuel, we see that you get a free wash with a fill up, and we thought about maybe we'll go and stay in Tok, wash the RV, and kind of get ready for to finish up the trip and get down to the States. But we decided against that. It was just so nice. We were having a good day. And so we headed on down. We wanted to cross the border, and then we thought maybe we'd stop at Beaver Creek. Tok has a population of about 1,500. They've got a little Napa store. That's where we broke down whenever our air dryer on the way up to Alaska, our air dryer went out. And we had to go to Fairbanks. Fairbanks has got about 31,000 people to live there. They've got a fair amount of industry and stuff going on, but it's still 30,000 people. There's only so much there. Tok, there's no maintenance, the Napa didn't even have much parts. They had basics, but not any big stuff. So that matters here in a little bit. We head on down, we decided we'd cross the border, hopefully that goes smooth, and then we'll stay in Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek's got, we stayed there coming up, and they've got less than 100 people. I think 75 people live in Beaver Creek. But that's where get through the border. If they go smooth, we get to Beaver Creek, spend the night. If things are still going good, we might go all the way to Destruction Bay, or the gravel pits just past Destruction Bay. But we don't know yet. Just depends on how it goes.
This is a rough, rocky piece of construction.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we had to wait like 20 or 30 minutes for the pilot car to take us through. But usually they're a lot smoother. This is rough.
Yeah, we're not even doing but 5 miles per hour.
Yeah. I hope it's not too long, but as long as we've waited in line, I'm guessing it's a pretty long stretch. At least it ain't dusty. Driving to hit these gravelly, dirty roads, and look at the dust. You can't even see in the mirrors, the camera. It is. Yeah, you can kind of see back there behind us. We're stirring some dust, probably throwing some rocks. Ain't it lovely, baby?
No. Doing about 25 to 30 through that crap.
Yep. We're headed to Destruction Bay tonight. We got about 75 miles. Got us a stretch of pavement, but it'll turn to gravel in the next couple of miles. Got us some little dark clouds. Might get some mud.
Yeah.
We in Canada, baby. Ain't you loving life?
Well, yeah, I'm getting ready to get through part of Canada.
Yeah. I think Alaska definitely beats them on the roads. We didn't have hardly any of this in Alaska. Kind of a windstorm out here by Kalani Lake, Destruction Bay. They call it Destruction Bay because of they get these 60 and 70 mile an hour winds on a regular basis, and it just destroys everything. what one of the old timers told us.
Look at that. That's incredible. I can't hardly see. Wow.
Well, as you can see, we decided to keep going and make it down to Destruction Bay. That's about 450 miles that we covered from Fairbanks to Destruction Bay. And although we had a lot of rough roads, had that wind, it really wasn't too bad. Driving these big coaches, they're just pretty smooth even on rough roads. So, and Pearl's a trooper. Here we are at Destruction Bay. So it's really been a great travel day. Yeah, we had a lot of rocky roads. The road from Destruction Bay to Tok, everybody says is the worst for the whole trip. And I think that's probably true. But we made it. We talked for a second about it's 150 miles to Whitehorse, and we stayed at the RV park there coming up. We talked about going on down there. It's like 24 hours a day, so we could have done it. But Pearl, she said really she's a little tired. Let's just call it quits here, and then we'll go to Whitehorse tomorrow, stay at the RV park for a day, and then turn south. And that, my friend, is probably the best decision that we made all day long. If we had kept on going, we would have been stranded on the side of a little 2-lane road in the middle of nowhere. So I'm out walking Tinker, and I noticed the engine is still revving up pretty high. Usually we park, Pearl will get up and go to the bathroom, let the engine cool down, and then she'll shut the engine off after she's done. Well, she hadn't. It's been 5 or 10 minutes. She hadn't shut it off. And the fan, you can hear it running really loud, which was kind of odd. So Tinker and I went back up, and I checked the engine temperature. It was 190 degrees. We've been sitting there 10 or 15 minutes. It should have cooled down to 175 or 180. So something's odd. I don't want to shut it down when it's that hot. I go back and check the fan, the radiator, and come to find out we're out of antifreeze, or at least very low.
Well, we got a problem. That's supposed to be red antifreeze in there, and it's empty. We filled it up a couple of times. That's our radiator reservoir, by the way. And when we fill it up, it just leaks out here onto this pad.
This is a place we've been before, and we're kind of glad that we're here again. Especially since the radiator seems to have a leak in it and won't hold water, and we can't cool down the engine. But it's peaceful here. We've been here before, and it's kind of nice to be able to see the sights around the ocean or the water and relax a little bit. And there's Miss Tinker in the windows.
So it seemed like it'd be a pretty easy problem to solve. I've got tools, I've got spare parts, hoses, hose clamps, I even got a water pump. But none of that seemed to be the problem. I'm at a loss. So after sleeping on it overnight, thinking about it, we've got roadside assistance, we have CoachNet, supposed to be one of the best ones. I decided to give them a call. And they were great. They really are awesome. And they said they'd call me back in just a couple of hours. They asked all the problems. They're going to send a mechanic out, but they realized that, without parts, you're not going to get very far. They said, we're going to look to find a tow truck and find somewhere to tow you to. They asked how much I weighed, 43,000 pounds. So they said they'd call back in a couple hours. So while I was waiting for them to call, I started doing a little research. I could not find a radiator anywhere. I'm thinking somehow our radiator is just deteriorated, rotted out inside, and going bad. I couldn't find the leak, but that's the only thing left. In the closest town, there are no radiators available for our coach. You can have one built, but it takes weeks, if not longer, and then shipping to get it here. And this is in the middle of August. Winter is not that far away. I don't know that I could even get one to me before it started snowing and stuff. I don't know. As I mentioned, Fairbanks is 450 miles away. Anchorage is 550. And there's really no other big towns that I know of. When they call back, they said they found a tow truck that would come and bring a trailer and load me up on the trailer and haul me back, because nobody had anything big enough to hook up a tow thing and tow with. And that was one of my big concerns. I wanted up on a trailer so it doesn't damage the motorhome. And they're going to take me to Whitehorse. Now Whitehorse has got like 28,000 people. It's almost as big as Fairbanks, so I thought, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe they can take care of it. They said there's 2 diesel shops there. One of them was not interested in working on it at all. The other one said they could get it in a couple of days and diagnose it, but they didn't know when they could get to fixing it. What did I want to do?
Here it comes.
And the problem is, once they tow you somewhere to a diesel shop, then you're on your own. If it takes weeks or months or whatever, they're out of it and it's up to me. I wanted to go to maybe Anchorage, but they were not too interested in that. They said they found a shop that could diagnose it and they had the people to fix it. That's what they kind of wanted to do. They didn't say no, but so in our conversation I said, are you sure they're qualified? If they're qualified in Whitehorse, then yeah, send out the tow truck with the trailer to load up on, take us to Whitehorse. So that's what we did. So the truck repair place that we went to, the name is New North Truck and Equipment. And when we pulled into the lot, I swear it looked more like where trucks and old pieces of equipment and several RVs come to die, not to get rebuilt. It was not encouraging at all. But I went in, I talked to the guy at the desk. He really didn't have much to say. I got to talk to the manager, and he said, yeah, he talked to Coach Nat, and they could diagnose it, but they were short of mechanics. Somebody was on vacation. It'd be a day or two before they'd get somebody free to look at it. And I'm already starting to think this is going to be a problem. We talked about us staying in the RV there in the lot. He didn't love that idea, but he agreed to it. And he would not to commit to doing the work on it, just diagnosing it. He said RVs are not what they work on. They're more truck and equipment. But he said once my extra mechanic gets back, we'll have them see. We'll see if we can schedule it in. And I just got the feeling that either they couldn't, they were afraid of the side radiator, they didn't want to do it, they couldn't do it. And so I took a trick from Lanny's playbook and decided I need to build him up. And so what I asked him was, well, okay, if you guys can't do it or don't want to do it, what would be my option? So I just have to fill it up with water and hope for the best. I asked him about maybe plumbing my washing machine. I have a washing machine right in the back, right beside the engine compartment. And I'm thinking I have 100 gallons of fresh water. I could tap into the washing machine hydrant and then run a hose out to my radiator overflow tank and just let it drip into the tank about the same speed as it's leaking, which was pretty slow, especially with the cap off and no pressure. And what he told me was, he said, you might could try that, but probably you're in the shop, you need to get it fixed before you venture back out on the road. There is not too many options once you leave here. And we kind of ended it there, but got him to thinking. We went back, spent the night. Next day about 11 o'clock, the mechanic come and knocked on the door and said, I got 30 minutes to diagnose your RV. If you can get it into the shop, I'll see what I can figure out. So we got the slides in, got stuff moved away, and drove it into the shop. And he did. He diagnosed it. He found a leak. He found up in the top right hand corner inside the engine compartment on the radiator, it was squirting out water. When you'd pressurize it, it would squirt right out. And so at least now we know what the problem is. So the mechanic that found the leak, he was their lead mechanic, and he told me in plain English, I don't work on RVs, but I'll come and help diagnose this, but I'm not going to be the one to fix it. Well, I helped him. I put the pressure on the hose and held it there while he crawled under and looked for leaks. He found that leak inside the shroud up in the corner. It's kind of hard to get to, and he would have had a hard time without having a second set of hands there. So I don't know if that made him happy that I didn't mind getting my hands dirty, or if the manager, he didn't want us leaving there and taking off in the wilderness and getting in a bind or something. I don't know. Something changed. Because he said, okay, we found the leak. I'm on my lunch break. I'll go talk to the manager and I'll get back to you in a little while. Well, about an hour later, he come out and found us, was out in the lot. And he said, all right, this is what we're going to do. The manager told me to go ahead and back you out of the shop and work on you outside, because if we get you tore apart, then that bay is down for however long we're waiting on parts. So if you don't mind working outside, you can sleep in the RV as long as you want to, as long as it takes. But I can't clog up my bay. And I said, yeah, whatever, just let's make it happen. He literally got to work. He had that radiator out in 4 hours. By 4 o'clock that evening, really 3 hours, I guess, he had the radiator out. And over to the radiator shop. The next morning, I went over and checked on the radiator and talked to the radiator guy, and he said, no, your radiator's great. It had a rock, had evidently punched a hole in it. It happens a lot up there. And he put this magic stuff on it, and he said it'll take 24 hours for that stuff to dry, and you're good as new. I'm so excited. So I went back, I told Pearl, talked to the mechanic and the manager, and they said as soon as he gets it to us in the morning, we'll put it back in, and if everything holds, you'll be on your way. And that's what happened. He came back over, he put it in. It took him about 4 hours to get it back together. And then we let it run for about an hour to make sure there was no leaks. Burp all the air out of the engine. And off we went. And we're back on the road. Boy, it feels good. Headed to the Oregon coast. And the good news is, we were 2 nights, 3 days in the shop. I can't believe that. That was simply amazing. The expense, I thought it was going to cost close to $5,000. Probably over. I was going to be happy if it was under. That's what I was prepared for. Well, this is what it cost. $1,878 for labor. $490 for the radiator shop. $307 for new coolant, new antifreeze. $115 for other. They charge because we used a credit card to pay, and that's the best way to pay for Canadian to American dollars. So that was $115 total. $2,930 Canadian. American, our credit card was charged $2,132. I can't believe how reasonable the pricing was and how quick they got it done. I got to give New North Truck and Equipment a big A+. They did us right. And that got us back on the road. So we're just outside of Watson Lake, headed to the Oregon coast, and we pulled over. We're fixing to turn on to Highway 37, and it appears we got Aren't We There Yet? Another YouTube channel, much bigger than us. And we're fixing to spend the night. I think our radiator is repaired. As you can see, we have no leaks underneath. So that's good. I think we money well spent, stopped in the shop. So until we see you guys again next time, keep the wheels rolling, stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit, folks. Bye-bye.